G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hougaard. Thank you for being here and watching my content, and as always, it is my pleasure and the absolute privilege to talk about the greatest sport in the world, rugby. And you are here today because it's Tuesday and it's time to read some rugby news. First up, the top 14 finished their season on the weekend between Toulouse and La Rochelle, the top two teams in the final. La Rochelle has been a team that won multiple European Champions Cup, including the current season of Champions League. They won that. And they have never won the top 14, and it was looking like they were probably destined to win this game. They were leading with only about 2 minutes left. And this guy, Romain Ntamack, literally won the game out of nowhere. Like, the team was going absolutely nowhere. The balls were thrown to the ground. The players were running backwards. And then Ntamack found himself a huge gap center field with his brilliant footwork, and he ran 70 meters down the other end to score a magnificent try to win the game, and once again shuts out La Rochelle from winning that top 14 title. This was absolutely unbelievable, and but you know, there was a controversial moment. In fact, leading into this sequence of play where Ntamack scored, I thought was really controversial. It's something that you will not read on the news. So Ntamack, just before this try was scored, there was the Toulouse was trying to run the ball out of their own 22. Ntamack gets the ball. He gets tackled by one of the La Rochelle players. Basically, went for a very low tackle and basically took out Ntamack's legs, and Ntamack fell over. But the player that took out Ntamack's legs knocked himself out. The La Rochelle player knocked himself out in the process, and Ntamack, as he falls over, it looked like La Rochelle had turned the ball over. Right, there was a few forwards right over the ball. And it looked like this was going to be a turnover. This was going to be a penalty. This was going to be another 3 points for La Rochelle. The referee blows the whistle, right? And you're like, oh my God, this is it. Because La Rochelle was leading by, how much was it? Leading by 4 at that point. So if they get this penalty, they will lead by 7, right? Then they can't lose unless it will be a draw, right? So the referee blows his whistle, and everybody thought it was a penalty turnover. And the referee goes, no. The French referee says, this player's knocked out. I'm going to pause the game for him to get treated. Whilst everybody thought this was a turnover penalty, right? And then, so you think, okay, is this going to be La Rochelle's ball because they turned the ball over at the breakdown? No. The referee says, scrum reset for Toulouse. And after this scrum, a few plays later, Ntamack finds himself through for the try. Yeah, so I was baffled. I was like mind blown when I saw that decision. I was like, wait, Toulouse is getting the scrum feed? What's going on here? So yeah, that was really controversial, I thought. And I mean, all credit to Toulouse. They had to work pretty much the whole length of the field to score this try, but Ntamack really showed that he's not that far away from lifting the Rugby World Cup coming to the end of the year. So yeah, really exciting game. So the France also, bit news from there as well. They found themselves a new attack coach. Patrick Alatas has joined the French team as an attacking coach. And yes, the other big news last week was obviously the All Blacks announcement. It's always exciting every year to hear the first All Blacks team. And there was 5 debutants, I guess, uncapped players being named, and obviously a couple of, big names left out of the team. On top of my head, I thought one guy who probably should have got a mention was Jack Goodhue. But yeah, was the one guy that I was kind of surprised not mentioned in the team, but everybody else was kind of like expected for my part. Obviously, RTS is not selected at all, not even in the squad. And really interesting selections for Fozzie. But the larger squad isn't really surprising. It really comes down to who Fozzie going to name to start the team. Who's going to be that number 10 jersey? Is it going to be D-Mac? Is it going to be Bowden Barrett? Or is it going to be Richie Mo'unga? Who's going to be at the fullback position? And most importantly, who's going to be in that number 12 jersey? Is it going to be Jordie Barrett, who's not really in form at the moment? Or is it going to be Anton Lennon-Brown, who's been playing quite well in that 12 jersey for the Chiefs, with Josh Goodhue being left out of the squad? who's also a viable 12 for the Crusaders. In fact, he plays 12 for the Crusaders, done quite well for the Crusaders in last game against the Blues. Yeah, there's really just Anton Leonard-Brown or Jordie Barrett. I think Fozzie's probably got his mind set on Jordie Barrett, to be quite frankly. And so, yeah, let's go through the list and see who's been selected. Hookers, we've got Cody Taylor for the Crusaders. 76 caps. Dan Coles, I'm surprised that he's selected at hooker position for the Hurricanes. He's 36 years of age already. Sumasoni Taukiaho, absolutely no-brainer selection in there from the Chiefs. The props, Ethan de Groot from Highlanders. Fletcher Newell from the Crusaders. Nipo Laulala, I'm surprised that he was selected, but then again, thinking about who else could be possible to be selected here, yeah, the number of props is a little bit thin with Joe Moody kind of injured. So yeah, I guess Nipo Laulala has to be part of the selections, even though I think he's quite poor at the moment. Ofa Tuangafasi is the other guy that selected the Blues. Tuangafasi actually has been quite good for the Blues with a lot of dominance. Tamati Williams, the big man from the Crusaders, he's absolutely humongous. He'll be one of the potential debutants for the All Blacks. Tyrell Lomax is the best tight end in the world at the moment, I think. Been selected for the selected from the Hurricanes. In the lock positions, we've got Brody Retallick, Josh Lord, Sam Whitelock, who's still struggling a bit of injury, but he will be expected to be okay for the Rugby Championship. Scotty Barrett, and then Tupou Va'ai gets the lock nod on the lock position. The loose forward, we've got Adi Savia, no surprise. Dalton Papali'i, who has not been that great, to be fair, recently for the Blues, has been really under the radar a little bit. Luke Jacobson, on the other hand, has been really stepping up his game, so he's definitely deserving the nod there. Sam Kang as the captain, always reliable. Simon Penny, Finau, a Chiefs debutant. He is obviously on the back end of a really good Chiefs season. And then Shannon Frizzell is another the sixth player selected for the loose forwards. Halfback Aaron Smith, Finley Christie, and Cam Roigard. That's a surprising selection there for the halfbacks in the All Blacks jersey. 5A, here's the conundrum. We've got Beauden Barrett, Damien McKenzie, and Richie Mo'unga. Who's going to play 5A? Who's going to play fullback? It's up to debates, but I think, yeah, maybe Richie Mo'unga start and then D-Mac as fullback. Beauden Barrett probably holding tackling back because Beauden hasn't really been that good. Midfielders, Anton Leonard-Brown, Jordie Barrett, Riku Ioane, Braden Ainor, who's been for the Crusaders, been really well for the Crusaders in number 13 jersey. Dallas McLeod, another uncapped center for the All Blacks. And yeah, like I said, Jack Goodhue is left out. Yeah, someone who hasn't really had that much of time with the All Blacks, to be honest. He has been plagued with injuries, and he really hasn't had much of like a consistency in the All Blacks throughout his career. So I'm really disappointed to see that he's not selected once again, especially with Jordie Barrett not really in form. Riku Ioane, again, really bad, to be honest, as a 13. Riku Ioane is much better as a winger. And so you only really left with, like, realistically, is Anton Leonard-Brown and Braden Eno as your center combination. Yeah, that would be, like, the best center combination. But I really thought, surely, Jack Goodhue and Anton Leonard-Brown will be the better option. David Havili is injured. But it looks like Ian Foster is probably going to have Jordie Barrett and Riku Ioane, the two out of position players playing the center positions, and could potentially, yeah, it's going to be a massive liability coming up against, you know, world class teams. Like, yeah, it's you know, if you know, Riku and Jordie both struggled quite a bit in Super Rugby, and yeah, against international test teams. Anyway, we'll see what Fozzie do. Is Fozzie going to put, you know, I don't know what Fozzie's going to do, mate, honestly. And again, outside backs, this is another selection that I really disagree with. Caleb Clark, he's probably only in the team because his dad is a former All Black and probably works for, I think his dad works for New Zealand Rugby. So that's probably why he's in the team, because he's really poor at the moment for the Blues as well. Imoni Narawa for the Chiefs has been selected, potential debutant. Lester Fainga'a-Nuku is the one that should be starting for the All Blacks. He's absolutely amazing. He's Fainga'a-Nuku, physically, mentally, everything is just in absolute top form right now for the Crusaders. Mark Talea, physically is in super top form, so he will be the other winger. And Will Jordan, where are you going to fit him? Is he going to be a fullback? He's actually incredibly good as well. Like on the weekend, there was, I thought, you know, he was able to out-leap Caleb Clark for a ball that crossfield kick from Beauden Barrett. Like, I thought that was unbelievable. I was blown away by his ability to take that high ball from Caleb Clark, from the cross kick of Beauden Barrett on the weekend. It was just unbelievable. I thought Will Jordan definitely deserved a spot at some point. So Sean Stevenson was called into the squad due to Mark Talea having a bit of injury issues. But yeah, this was the All Blacks announcement for this is not the Rugby World Cup team. This will be the Rugby Championship team going into a few weeks' time. So yeah, like I mentioned, Jack Goodhue, really disappointing that Fozzie didn't select him. I really felt like his form for the Crusaders has been really, really good. In fact, Crusaders, like the superb rugby Crusaders been playing in the last few rounds, Jack Goodhue has played a huge part to it. He's going to be leaving New Zealand for offshores, and he's expected to be signing with Castres in the French top 4 team going into next year. Good on him for making some money. Another game that was missed out due to injury with Ethan Blackadder, the blindside flanker position that requires to be a world-class, line-out receiver. Scotty Barrett's been put in that position quite a few times. I really didn't feel like, it still feels weird to have Scotty Barrett at blindside flanker position. Ethan Blackadder will be a perfect player to fill that role for the All Blacks. But yeah, he's had a quad injury playing against the Fijian Drua, and then he's going to be out for a little bit. Hopefully he'll be good for coming back to Rugby World Cup. Obviously, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, the Rugby League experiment, has already signed to return to the Warriors to play Rugby League next year. He's not named in the team at all. And he is. There was some chatter that he might return to Rugby League early, but the CEO from the from the Warriors has come out and said that's not the case. So yeah, Derick Hougaard is apparently struggling with his life at the moment. In the hospital, he's been in a coma for a few days. He's 40 years of age. He's suffering some lung issues, and he's been taken to hospital, and he's been in a coma for a few days. I'm really surprised to see this because you may remember him from Rugby World Cup 2007. I think it was 2003 maybe. It was 2003. I think it was where he got absolutely destroyed by Brian Lima from Samoa. So go watch this video, and that's where I remember this guy, Derick Hougaard. He received the hospital pass from his teammate and got absolutely smashed, destroyed. Biggest hospital pass and got absolutely destroyed by Brian Lima. Literally got speared like it was in the WWE. And that's his claim to fame in my books. Have a look. But yeah, Derick Hougaard, hopefully he's gonna be okay. But it'd be really sad to, hopefully he pulls through. I mean, if you survive a hit from Brian Lima, I hope he's gonna be okay for whatever issue he's having. And so the Super Rugby semi-finals was played on the weekend. The Chiefs beating the Brumbies in a pretty tight game. A lot of kicking, a bit of wet conditions. Chiefs pulled out 19 points to 6 win all the way till the end. D-Mac, the superstar, finally was able to crack the defensive line of the Brumbies and set forward a lot of momentum close to the try line. And then Brodie Retallick, the All Black, big gun, crashed over to kind of close out the game. 19 points to 6 for the Chiefs. Yeah, it is what it is. The Chiefs has been in top form, but this was not really that much of a convincing win. Not like the Crusaders game, but it's a style that's very similar to a Test rugby performance. Obviously, like we mentioned, the Blues lost to the Crusaders 52 points to 15. Yeah, in a semi-final game. This was horrendous. And there has been a lot of people talking about a lot of the Blues players don't deserve to be in the All Blacks, which I completely agree. This was horrendous. This was like watching just world-class All Blacks players choking under pressure. The Blues have, way more All Blacks team players in their lineup than the Crusaders. The Crusaders had 2 All Blacks in their 4-packs, and I think there was 3 or 4 in the back line, whereas the Blues had 5 All Blacks in the start, and then I think 4 as well in the back line. So the Blues should have dominated this game, but instead they got absolutely dominated by a bunch of, injury reserves essentially of the Crusaders. I mean, 52 points to 15, like by injury reserves, because yeah, the Crusaders have suffered a lot of injuries and yeah, basically playing with the B team, and the Blues got destroyed. So yeah, I don't know how Fozzie could be selecting this Blues team, any of the members of the Blues team in the All Blacks. Maybe Talea deserved to be in the All Blacks because that's been really good form. In fact, the Blues hasn't really been that great, except for Mark Talea again and again and again, kind of like rescuing the Blues out of the ditch. But without Mark Talea, the Blues is probably would be it would look a lot worse on paper with their results. And this really was exposed by the Crusaders, by like the Crusaders B team essentially. B team, 52 points to 15. That was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So there was some talks about obviously like Super Rugby draft in the last couple of weeks, and more kind of concrete plan has kind of been proposed at the moment for Super Rugby. They want to put out a Super Rugby commission that's going to be look at how they're going to drive the product forward to 2023. That's what New Zealand, Australia has committed to, and they talk about maximizing entertainment value and community connections, and then sometimes I wonder to myself like, yeah, just listen to this quote, okay? So the purpose of the commission of this commission's purpose, so the Super Rugby Commission, the purpose of this commission is to drive commercial revenue, oversee rules and regulations, shape the future strategic direction, and generate fan-first initiatives. Ironic, isn't it? Your fan-first initiative is mentioned last in your mission statement. Isn't that ironic? And then, with all this garbage talk, there's no mention of how about take rugby out of the private schools and make it played in public schools. Put money into public schools and get them to play rugby. How's that? How about putting that in your mission statement? Instead of putting fans first, last, in your mission statement, behind revenue, behind rules and regulations, and future strategic direction, whatever that means, isn't that like redundant? Right? Like some redundant point. And then fan first. Fans, yeah, definitely first. You came last on your mission statement. So ironic, right? And I mean, I want to see how they're going to go with this. But I mean, start with the draft with the salary cap would be really good. But let me know how you see this. But I'm not really sold. So yeah, outside of the All Black selections, there was a announcement for Samoa. Some big names from the former All Blacks and former Wallabies were announced. Christian Leali'ifano for the Wallabies, Charlie Fa'umuina was announced, and Stephen Luatua. And Lima Sapuanga was announced in the team for some big names. Former names was announced in the team for the Samoan team. Obviously, Michael Alaalatoa formerly plays for the. He's the brother of Alan Alaalatoa, and he formerly plays for the Crusaders and currently playing for Leinster. So really, really talented prop. You can go through the list yourself. We don't really have much time, and I don't want to butcher everyone's name like I did in the last video. So we'll be moving on. And Tonga, on the other hand, also named a huge team for the Rugby World Cup preparation squad, including Adam Coleman, former Wallaby lock, has been selected for, and that's quite huge because Adam Coleman is quite a set piece menace for the Wallabies in the past. So he's been selected for Tonga. Peter Aki is also joined the team. This was alongside of some big names already: Charles Piatau, Malakai Feketoa, and Augustine Pulu, and then George Moala, and obviously Israel Folau and Lopeti Timani are also part of the squad. So go through that yourself. You want to have a look at the full squad. I'm not going to go butchering more names. And then there was some news review this week as well. So Warren Gatland has taken over from Wayne Pivac of Wales at the beginning of the Six Nations in January, essentially, this year. And Warren Gatland reviewed that he kind of regret the decision taking over Wales, because Wales at the moment is an absolute, stinker at the moment. the organization Wales Rugby Union is being investigated for sexism and misogyny allegations. There's some financial issues that led to players almost going on strike during the Six Nations because the Wales Rugby Union couldn't agree on a salary for the clubs. Not a salary, pay. Pay for the clubs. They couldn't agree on how much money they were given to the clubs. Yeah, there were so many issues with the Wales Rugby Union, and obviously, Alan Wyn, not Alan Wyn Jones, Warren Gatland, when he took over the job, he didn't know these issues were involved, and he basically said that, hey, a lot of these issues are gonna carry on with the financial stuff, especially, and he said he very clearly that he would have made a different decision. That at the time, if I had known, I would have made a different decision. I'd probably gone elsewhere. So Warren Gatland immediately regret joining in the Wales squad. And this is also most recently with a number of the Welsh players deciding to quit, essentially, just before the Rugby World Cup. This is very uncharacteristic. Like Alan Wyn Jones, Justin Timberis, Rhys Webb, and then Rhys have all quit, retired essentially from Test Rugby. Corey Hill has withdrawn from the Wales camp. And Rhys Kerr was dropped because he wasn't in shape. But yeah, this was pretty bad stuff for Wales. I mean, to quit so close to Rugby World Cup shows a lot of big issues. So going to Italy now, finally, Kieran Crowley, the current Italian coach, expected to leave Italy. Despite that, he wanted to extend his contract to stay with Italy. But Italy has decided to drop him. Kieran Crowley has done, the Italian has been pretty bad all the time, but I thought in recent times he's starting to crack the team a little bit. They got a first win ever over the Wallabies. They beat Wales in Cardiff, and I thought the Italian team is starting to turn things around, starting to look like something could happen with a lot of the young talents coming through. But yeah, Kieran Crowley is gonna be leaving despite that his wishes to stay, so they're gonna kick him out. And then Monty Ioane, one of the Italian players who's left Italy due to mental health issues to play for the Rebels. I mean, if you have mental health issues, man, don't play for the Rebels. That's my tip for you, because So he's going back to Europe and re-sign with Lyon on the top 14, and he probably will play for Italy again for the Rugby World Cup. But he did miss out the Six Nations earlier this year. So yeah, that's the news for this week, guys. Let me know your thoughts, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later this week for Super Rugby Finals and maybe the State of Origins tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good week. Cheers.